How's it going, guys? Jacob Bertram here, and welcome back to Modern Masculinity. Hamza Ahmed's Adonis gang was open to the public a couple of months ago, and there's been a great deal of promotion of it on his YouTube channel and kind of general discussion of it, kind of there's a mystique to it, in the male self-improvement community. I'm here to hopefully dispel that mystique, bring some facts to light. In mid-October, I joined Adonis gang, and I left a couple of days ago, so I left on about December 15th or 16th, so I was in Adonis gang for almost exactly 2 months on the dot. So I want to talk about kind of why I left, and also basically why it's probably, possibly, maybe not worth it for you. So, myself being a good university student, I came up with 3 main points to make. Obviously, if you're in higher education of any sort, in either social sciences or liberal arts, you'll know you gotta have 3 main arguments in a paper. So here's my journal. I got some stuff listed down. So I'm going to be basically talking about 3 main reasons, the 3 main reasons why I left and why maybe you shouldn't join. And then I'll also talk about some good things that I got from it. One good thing in particular. So the first reason is that Hamza's Adonis gang really feels like a cult in many ways. The second is that the Adonis gang school, like the forum space itself, I found offered little to no value. And third, I found that, unfortunately, Adonis gang was simply used as a funnel to get people to join Adonis school. So I'll start by discussing the cultish aspects of Hamza's Adonis gang. So when there's discussion on the forum, anytime anyone disagrees with one of Hamza's prevailing narratives, there are 2 things that can happen. Well, normally these 2 things happen in succession. The first is that there'll be an outpouring of basically hate from community members who aren't actually, who aren't debunking the point that is being made by the critic of Hamza's view. Instead, this person is called a crab or a Jeffrey. Then, the comment is deleted by moderators, and sometimes Hamza will make a post where he's like, "Oh, I removed 2 crabs from the community today. No crabs allowed in this cult." And he goes out there and himself calls it a cult. And many members of Adonis gang willfully accept this and willfully talk about it and how amazing it is. Really, the last straw for me where I knew this was heading in a cult-like direction, and thank you to Joe Rogan's episode he did with Leah Remini, former member of the Church of Scientology, way back. I listened to it like 4 or 5 years ago. The moment where I knew that it was going in a cult-like direction was when I think Hamza and then some other community members kind of by themselves started talking about the need to build like a self-improvement, real life, like town, compound. Now, specifically what started ringing alarm bells was when this like 16-year-old kid posted about his like dream for like a self-improvement physical cult, essentially. And in this post, he basically details this village. He called it a self-improvement village, in which every man would have like a specific purpose. The women would basically raise the children, and the children would be put through, like, they They would be given an education, a specific self-improvement education. They would be taught things like physical discipline, mental strength. Those things, like teaching those things to children, is a good thing. However, it was the comments that really got me. There was discussion of buying land away from civilization, and while this may seem innocuous to the untrained eye, as someone who is interested in cults and the way they form, immediately alarm bells were going off. It reminded me of Jonestown. For those of you who aren't aware, Jonestown was basically this village of cult members led by the cult leader that was located in like New Guinea or something. And these were people who had started by being a follower of this guy at his church in the States, and then they went down to Papua New Guinea. They all followed him. And there were some pretty serious abuses happening there, and it culminated tragically with him basically forcing people at gunpoint to drink poison and shooting those who were trying to escape. Now, am I saying that this is necessarily the direction Hamza's self-improvement village will go in? No, but it has potential. This isolation is really the scary part. Isolation, and then like this shared ideology from which, hold up, deviation from this shared ideology, the kind of Hamza's narrative, will lead to one being called a crab and being kicked out, cast aside. And now who knows how this could materialize in the self-improvement village? Physical punishment, incarceration, or worse. Like, who knows, right? All that to say, Hamza's Adonis gang was setting off alarm bells and was giving me cult vibes. Moving on to my second point, and this is perhaps the point that is less based on my personal knowledge of the ways that cults work. This one specifically, and it's just a problem financially for anyone who wants to join, is that there's actually a real lack of value from the forum itself. This comes with a caveat. Like, I would have actually been genuinely pissed off to pay $5 a month, which is not much money for me, because I work. But I would have been genuinely pissed off if I hadn't had the opportunity to have meetups. And this is the one positive aspect that I'll talk about later, but for now I'll focus on the fact that this forum, like the forum side of it, which is the only way through which most people interact with it, most people aren't meeting up, frankly is kind of not great. It's not worth it. It just feels like a subreddit. I mean, that's literally it. It's such an underwhelming experience. And while occasionally posts that bring value will surface, they're all written in like the cringe Jeffrey Adonis way, copycat way, which is just so, it's just gross. It shows, again, this cult mindset, this everyone is a follower of Hamza and they think his way of doing things is the best way of doing things. But yeah, the rare times that value is brought to the table, it is in this horribly cringe format. But most of the time, it's literally just stuff like, oh, my dick doesn't get hard sometimes in the mornings. What do I do? And how many eggs should I eat a day? Oh, you should eat 20 eggs a day. Like, shut up. And the worst kind is just, do 33 push-ups right now. No excuses. No excuses. And it's like, dude, how is this worth $5 a month? There should be more vetting when it comes to these posts getting through. But this all kind of works into my final point. This kind of lack of quality, I theorize, is due to my third point, My third point is that Adonis Gang essentially now exists only as a funnel to Adonis School. When Adonis Gang was first created, when I first joined, Hamza was an active and regular participant. He would comment, he would make posts telling people actionable steps. In the past month or so, really the past few weeks, the only time I've seen Hamza post is to talk about Adonis School and how amazing it is. And while from a business perspective I completely understand $500 a month is a lot better for him than $5 a month, it still means that Adonis Gang is getting watered down from what it was at its inception, and why it's not and basically means it's not worth it in and of itself as a standalone product. And so how exactly does he use it as a funnel? So quite apart from just posting essentially what are ads for Adonis School, and basically only replying to discussions about Adonis School, Hamza's used this sneaky way, or Hamza's team has created this sneaky way of kind of pulling people in. It really is a funnel. Because there's a classroom section on the Adonis Gang School, like School, SKOOL, that's the platform they use, the forum platform. On the classroom section, literally all it is there's a list of previous actionable steps that Hamza's talked about on Adonis Gang. There's like 3 or 4 of them. But other than that, like it shows a bunch of them. But all of them can only be viewed if you're a member of Adonis School. So already there's this kind of like, hey, come here. Like, come to the dark side, like, you know what I mean. And there's an even more glaringly obvious example of this, because for the classroom one, you have to like actually go to the classroom tab. On the main feed at the top, almost all the time there's like live call happening now, and then it'll say the speaker name and the topic and a description, and you're like, oh, this seems interesting. This is why I joined Adonis Gang, to gain valuable insight from people who are more successful than me in every single way. But alas, you click on it, and the only way to access it, and they hear it, is pay for Adonis School. As you can see, I've been worked up into quite the tizzy over this, but those are my 3 main reasons why you should absolutely not join Adonis Gang. However, I'm going to give you the one major good thing that I've gleaned from it that made the cumulative $10 or $15 I spent on it over the past couple months worth it. It's the meetups. If you go onto Adonis Gang, you can find, there's a map, basically a community map, where you can see the locations of all members. So you can basically find members in your city. I live in the Ottawa-Gatineau area, so in my city there's like 10 or 11 guys. Send a DM to one of the guys and get connected and meet up. How that played out for me was that I DM'd a dude who was in my city, and he added me to a Telegram group chat with a bunch of guys from the city. And we've had 2 meetups so far. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Sorry, I got a call, but like I was saying, we've had 2 meetups, both of which I've attended, and both of which were privy to enlightening discussions. Did I use that word right? I don't think it was word privy to. Okay. During both of these meetups, I had enlightening discussions. There was really a palpable sense of brotherhood, especially on the first meetup with these guys. We went on a hike, and we talked about self-improvement. We were there for like 6 hours, and I felt so close to these guys who I'd never met before, because we had self-improvement in common. And it was an amazing experience, like an incredible experience that made it all worth it. Unfortunately, due to logistics, we've only met up twice. but it was still an amazing, frankly, life-altering experience. So that is the one upside. If you can find guys in your city and have a meetup, chances are it's going to be an amazing experience. But honestly, what I would do is I would pay the $5, get into Adonis Gang, find people in your city, get onto their group chat, leave Adonis Gang. I think Adonis Gang, the forum itself, has no value to offer. None. Not anymore. When it was first created, it did, but now that value's all gone. Like I said, it's a cult, it's just a funnel, and there's no value. So, steer clear. That's my advice. Except for that first month. Join, find some guys in your city, get the fuck out. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. You know, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Don't leave a like, I don't care. Just, you watch the video, good enough. All I care about is you commenting. I don't know what likes do, and I frankly don't care. Just comment. Comment. I'd love to get into a discussion. I need to talk with more dudes on self-improvement, hear your perspective. Peace out.